Hello everybody, welcome to Oghuview, a little show where I like to talk about the games that I played on my channel, and in this episode we're gonna talk about Star Wars Squadrons on the Xbox Series X. I'm a Star Wars fan and have played quite a lot of games in this universe. I even remember the old X-Wing vs TIE Fighter series and dabbling into those since I was a little child. I was blown away by the complexity and story of those games. I remember especially liking the TIE Fighter series and story, although I can't really remember why. Then, a decade later, Rogue Squadron on Nintendo 64 hit, and although it was a bit more arcadey, I fell in love with its story and gameplay. And now, another decade and some later, Star Wars Squadrons hits the shelves. And oh boy, this one hit in between those games in the best possible way. And in some others too.
Follow his lead.
This is Talus Leader, calling for immediate assistance.
Captain Antilles with Vanguard Squadron. Here to help.
The graphics are really great looking. Being in an X-Wing or in a TIE Fighter never looked better, to be honest. I love the details they put into the cockpit, as well as even having the possibility to look around in them while flying. Great and immersive. And in between the story missions, you are on the major ships, talking to your teammates and doing other stuff. Everything is very highly detailed. It was really atmospheric and immersive. I even got some Wing Commander flashbacks. I really enjoyed those games back in the day, so this is a very big plus in my book. I really thought I would see Mark Hamill talking to a big cat on the Rebel ships, or maybe seeing a wingman called Maniac on the Imperial ships. And if you get those references, you were either born in the last millennium, or you really enjoy games from the 90s, maybe even both. Okay, this would be to go back to where I've been before, okay. Nice and interesting so far. A lot of world building, fine. The sound, music and voice acting are superb as well, with nothing left to desire. Although some of the music tracks are, as I feared, copyright protected, so be aware of that if you want to stream and or upload your playing sessions for this game on a platform of your choice.
Look, I appreciate the talk, but Talus Group's waiting for us.
I did play the Rogue Squadron games on Nintendo 64, although not I think there was one on GameCube too. I didn't play that one. So I spent some time now speaking about the atmosphere of the game, while you're not, in a sense, playing it. How is the gameplay? And I have to say, this is where this game surprised me the most. I like flying games. Maybe not flying simulators, but games where you can fly a plane or a spaceship with some arcade controls maybe. Yeah, I do like those. Squadrons felt like the best of both worlds to me. I don't know if you can call a game about spaceships shooting at each other, in space of course, a simulation. But it is really close to something along these lines with the complexity it offers.
You swarm with TIE interceptors. Stay sharp. Shake off those enemies.
Come.
Missile coming my way. You're in the clear.
You can focus your energy on weapons to keep firing longer, or your thrusters to be faster and more agile, or your shields, if you have any, to tank more hits. And you can focus on front or back shields as well. Yes, it did take some getting used to, but after some time it really became second nature, and it felt great. All of this while still only using a controller. Kudos to the developers to come up with such a great control scheme. I hope other flight games have something similar. This is the way I want to play these games in the future.
They left out here. And what did the Republic do to their crews?
Doesn't matter. We can't change what happened. All we can do now is deliver vengeance.
As for the story, it was very intrusive and took me in quite fast. It was nothing too surprising, except for one thing that I don't want to spoil, but well written, acted out and executed, so everything fell into place quite nicely. I didn't even mind that you were tossed between the New Republic and the First Order between missions. It all fit together quite nicely most of the time. There is one major exception though, the endings. I think they could have done something better in regards to those, on both sides. But in the great scheme of things, it doesn't matter too much, to be honest.
Starhawk in the middle of a nebula. If that's how this ends, then I want that good old Vonreg fury covering our backs.
We came so close at Nadiri and they slipped through our fingers. Not again. Not today.
As for the game's price, I think it's a nice game for that. 39.99 euros or the original equivalent is a sweet spot there, I think. A lot of the enjoyment for the game depends on how you look at it though. As a single player only experience, the price is a bit steep in my opinion. But I think it's a steal if you get others to play it with you and enjoy the multiplayer together. Just a little reminder though, you can't play the campaign with friends, which is a minus in my book. But I think treating the campaign as a great tutorial is the right way to go in this case.
That's the way.
That's the way. This is the way.
Secure proximity.
As for achievements or trophies, I think those are very time consuming since a lot of them are also tied to the multiplayer, so keep that in mind. I think if you're a Star Wars fan and like space combat, you can't go wrong with this game, but you might consider waiting for a sale. Or get it via EA Play subscription to take a look at it first. I really enjoyed my time with it and hope we will see more of this game, maybe the franchise, in the future, although I would like to see some single player DLC as well. Maybe an even more fleshed out campaign, for example. It was a really fun ride from the beginning to the end for me.
They've locked onto my ship.
Star Destroyer targeting's out for good.
And this was this Oghuview. So if you liked it, please leave a comment and subscribe. All the jazz helps the channel grow, makes Oghu happy, and I hope to see all of you in the next episode of either Oghuview or Oghupower. Bye bye!